This is Brewers Warm-Up with Dominic Cotroneo. Your lineups, manager insights, and a preview of tonight's game right now. This is Brewers Warm-Up. Here's your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
It's a beautiful sunny day in St. Louis. The Brewers' magic number is down to 1. Today could be the day. All it takes is a win for the Brewers or a loss for the Cubs. Either or. Scoreboard watching will be in effect today as well because the Cubs play a few minutes before the Brewers. They get started at 12:40 Central Time in Cincinnati, trying to avoid getting mopped in that series against the Cubs. But you could also take matters into your own hands with a victory today. You know, what started out as a sleepy Sunday, everyone excited for the potential to clinch, has become a big breaking news morning here in Brewers land. First and foremost, the starting pitcher for this afternoon's game will be Robert Gasser. The left-hander is back in the big leagues after undergoing Tommy John surgery last season. He's had a fully healthy minor league rehab. He was optioned at the beginning of the month and then continued in his work as being shortened up, not as a traditional starter, but to have him as a weapon available in October. But now, the situation presents itself with Jose Quintana on the injured list that they need a spot start today with some length guys available behind him like Bruce Zimmerman, like Eric Fetty, that Robert Gasser is expected to stick with that 3-inning cadence that he had been going at in AAA his last few outings. In case you missed it, this season in the minor leagues, he's been phenomenal. A 2.37 ERA across 38 innings of multiple levels while he rehabbed back. But more specifically, since he shortened up as a starter slash, reliever, he hasn't made a start since September 3rd. That was against the Norfolk Tides, and in that one he only went 3 innings as well. You go back to since that day, September 3rd, for Robert Gasser, his numbers read a 0.68 ERA, 13 innings, only 2 runs, only 1 earned, and 15 strikeouts in those 13 innings. So he is still here, shortened by design, but as somebody that has crafty swing and miss lefty stuff. So I've hit you with the good news. Let me hit you with the bad news. The corresponding move for Robert Gasser to be activated and brought back up to the big leagues is Brandon Woodruff being placed on the injured list. And this is a significant injury. This is not like some people think, phantom IL, they're just trying to bubble wrap him. No, this is a lat strain, a right lat strain for Brandon Woodruff. He felt it on his 13th pitch of his bullpen session yesterday here in St. Louis. First, we'll hear from Pat Murphy on the injury, and we'll hear plenty from Brandon Woodruff. But first, Murph on another injury to arguably the ace of the Brewers.
There's a lot of different variables with this year and kind of going into kind of what just popped up. But I came in and played catch on Friday. Felt like it was normal stuff. Yesterday tried to throw a pin and something felt a little different, and so I went and reported it and got some imaging on it, and so there's still a lot of information I need to gather. I still haven't talked to Dr. Meister at this point. He's been out of the country, and so I really can't comment on anything going forward with it. But I still got some information to gather in that sense.
So from that perspective from Woodruff, and Murph's going to kind of say the same thing here coming up in a moment, but just that it's a lat strain. He's going to be shut down. We don't know how big it's going to be. Is it a full, hey, you're down for a month before you can even throw? Then obviously they're out of time. Here's what Pat Murphy had to say about the reaction from the team for Brandon Woodruff going on the IL.
Yeah, I think there's, nobody's happy about it, but it's a moderate strain of the lat. Going to get evaluated by another doctor today here in St. Louis, and obviously send all his stuff to Meister, the doctor that performed his surgery and that he's been so close with. And I think all indication is it's not the shoulder, and that's a good thing. But this is the kind of thing that happens when you're coming back from injury. You injure something else. So it's devastating for the person, for Woody, and how hard he's worked and to get here, and devastating for our team.
You know, for Woodruff and this record the Brewers have been on since he was activated, that's direct correlation. But now, you know, Murph went on to say it's time to do what we've been doing all season long, for somebody else to step up into somebody else's role, to be elevated, and to figure out a way to get to where they want to go. And I think we've been talking about this for a while, that Brandon Woodruff was not going to be starting Game 2 and Game 5. You know, I think that was kind of revealed by that longer rest between the last start and the previous one before that. But the Brewers were trying to do this the right way, and we got a longer cut from Brandon Woodruff coming up after the break, just about the timing of it, and just how, if this was in August, no one bats an eye, get them ready for October. But the fact that it's the final week of the regular season, and in Brandon Woodruff's own words, it's like deja vu. And instantly, it was just like, gosh, he's right. Granted, he kept tears in this time as opposed to the press conference he had in the 2023 playoffs. But, man, you just hope that he has not thrown his last pitch in a Brewers uniform, because if he did, that would have been last week against the Angels on Tuesday night, or rather Wednesday night against Anaheim. So we'll hear more from Woody coming up next, because that is the story of the day. Brewers and Cardinals. Magic number is 1 for the Brew Crew. A win takes care of everything. Does not matter what the Cubs do. So we'll talk to more about Woodruff on his IL stint after this on 620 WTMJ.
Talk about value. When it comes to casual dining, I can't think of a better value out there. If you're looking for a way to stretch your family's dining budget, come to Marty's Pizza, where feeding your family won't cost you an arm or a leg. You know, we're reasonably priced, and that's how it's going to stay. That's why we've been around so long. We offer a quality product at the right price. Italian dinners, subs, sandwiches, salads, and of course, 100% real mozzarella cheese pizza. Find us easily online at martyspizza.net.
Marty's Pizza. Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past. It doesn't get any better than that. Remember Marty's Pizza.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Now, more of Brewers warm-up on WTMJ.
From the Lou, Game 3, the last one of the season against the Cardinals. Brewers have won the season series by winning yesterday. They're 7-5 against the Redbirds. Another win today makes it 8-5. I'm Dom Cotroneo. We're reacting to the breaking news today that the Brewers are placing Brandon Woodruff on the injured list with a right lat strain, obviously ending his regular season. Now, if by some miracle that the readings come back from Dr. Keith Meister in Dallas that, no, I don't see a lat strain here, I see inflammation or something different, then he technically, because of the retroactive date, could be activated off the injured list ahead of the DS. But I think that's the last thing on the Brewers' mind right now. We'll talk about William Contreras later. We'll talk about the lineup. We've got a longer Brewers warm-up today. But with that, I want you to hear straight from Brandon Woodruff of just the reaction, the human, the man that is dealing with yet another setback in these last 2 years of just blow after blow after blow to try to stay in the ring and come back over and over again.
No, I mean, it's, look, life life happens. I know I mentioned that when I got hit in the elbow. Life happens. Stuff like this happens. This is one of those things. Yeah, crappy timing, obviously. But if you look at the body of work I've done for the whole season in terms of the innings workload I've done, probably have gotten to a point where whatever projections or whatever limits were put on this year, just who knows? Maybe this is my body saying it's, I'm to that point. You know what I mean? So, like I said, this is not. It's a blip on the radar in terms of the grand picture of things, in terms of my career and the rest of things, but incredibly crappy timing. I said it feels like deja vu with this from 2 years ago, but it's crappy timing because you work so hard to get to. Not only this point where you're essentially, like, the biggest goal of mine was to finish the year healthy, and essentially hopefully we win the World Series, and that's a month away, and it's like, but I knew deep down the longer I kept going, that's kind of the side effect of what I was describing as the longer you keep going, things like this can happen, and, this could have happened early on, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. So, crappy timing in that sense, and you deal with it. I've been around long enough. It feels like the last 2 years this stuff's kind of piled up, but it's, like I said, I'll stress, this year was all about me getting healthy and getting my body back used to pitching, and I've done exactly what I wanted to do from a personal goal standpoint. It's just, obviously for the team aspect, I want to win worse than anybody. So it's in that sense, it's crappy timing, but I can't do nothing about it. I've done everything. I've checked every single box I can check to avoid this. It's just, like I said, it's a side effect of just a really good baseball team. I was throwing the ball well, a lot of different factors, but it's just it's a lot more layers than just kind of what has happened. So.
Yeah, you just feel for him, man. I appreciate Woody talking to the media here today with us and reacting to all of this in real time, as he knew something was off literally yesterday. And now here he is explaining that his season is over, postseason in jeopardy, and his Brewers career might be over as well. But I just want to bring something small up here about Brandon Woodruff and about the contract that he signed. I think it's all a foregone conclusion that he's a free agent to be, and here's the way it all works out, is that it's a mutual option for next year worth $20 million with a $10 million buyout. The whole point was that it was going to be backloaded to try to get him healthy this season. The Brewers are technically paying him $5 million this year, but guaranteed for $10 million next year, whether he's pitching for the Brewers or he's not. So the point being is that the Brewers now are probably not going to pick up their end of the mutual option. That was seemingly pretty certain from the beginning, and now Woodruff, has a reason to try to get length now as opposed to another one-year deal, which is why pitchers go through this, because it is such a brutal activity on your body. Everything he's come back from, a capsule strain to getting a comebacker to ankle inflammation and now a lat. None of that is Tommy John, which he had when he was younger. So the human body is just not meant to do this. And yet he was joking with us after the microphones turned off, but this was able to be shared, of just like, even 87 in that first pitch on Wednesday night, it's like, but he was still getting strikeouts in that game, so he knows his stuff still plays. He didn't think anything of it, and then the velocity eventually ticked up. For the human body is amazing and frustrating at the same time. So who are the next men up? What are the Brewers going to do? How are they going to fill this void with Brandon Woodruff likely not available for October? We'll talk about that coming up next. Brewers warm-up going till a little before 12:40. Then Lane and Josh have you for the On Deck Show right here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
You've probably been hearing a lot of buzz about tariffs.
I haven't.
Really?
What's a tariff?
It's a tax on imported goods.
It makes these imported goods more expensive.
Oh, that explains why I've never heard of tariffs.
Why?
Because 92.3% of the furniture at Penny Mustard is made in the USA.
True.
In fact, most of it is built by local craftsmen and women right here in the Midwest.
And locally sourced furniture will never have a tariff on it.
So when you invest in new furniture at Penny Mustard, you won't be paying extra taxes and shipping costs.
Besides, tariffs or no tariffs, our American-made Penny Mustard Strong furniture will last generations longer than IFE-made furniture shipped in from overseas.
You get so much more for your money when you buy American.
Tell me more about these tariffs.
Can we talk about this later? I'm so tired of hearing about them.
Oh, so I guess you can say that all this talk about tariffs is taxing.
I see what you did there.
PennyMustard.com.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats.
Now through Wednesday, save on 9 to 13.1 ounce selective varieties, Old Dutch tortilla or potato chips, 2 for $5.50. 32 ounce selective varieties, International Delight Creamer, 2 for $7. 10 to 10.8 ounce selective varieties, Bird's Eye Vegetables, 4 for $5. 10.5 to 11.25 ounce selective varieties, New York Texas Toast, 2 for $5.
I am starving.
Oh no, never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, wow, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
You need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against Chicago on December 7th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
Enter by November 12th.
Back to Brewers Warm-Up on WTMJ.
Weather report here from St. Louis. Shocker, it's humid, but it's clear for now. Tarpers on the field overnight. There's scattered summer showers in the area. That's just how it goes here. You'll probably maybe see a sprinkling at some point in the game, but we're expecting to play ball here in the Lou. Brewers and Cardinals, finale of this season series. We'll talk a little bit about what the pitching looks like now here down the stretch for the Brewers with Brandon Woodruff going on the injured list. So the point being, without Woodruff in it and without Quintana in it, young arms are going to have to step up, like Robert Gasser today. Granted, he has been shortened up, and I don't think the Brewers anticipate him having to make a traditional start, like 5 innings or more, or even in October. That doesn't seem to be on their radar for him, given he does have an innings limit coming off of Tommy John surgery. And it's also worth mentioning he had full reconstructive Tommy John surgery. We've seen something over the years called the internal brace procedure, where it's not quite taking a brand new ligament and putting it in there. It's re-supporting the currently damaged ligament. That's not what Robert Gasser had. He's got the full brand new elbow. So they're going to be smart and patient with him. What do you look at for a DS? Let's get ahead of ourselves here a little bit. Let's go ahead and try to predict what the Brewers will do in the DS. And now all eyes go on Jose Quintana. Quintana will not make another regular season start because of his injured list placement. But he will be eligible to be activated for the NLDS when the 15 days are up. That being said, we know Freddie Peralta would be Game 1, Quinn Priester would be Game 2. That's significant because both of those two guys can then start Game 4 and Game 5 on regular rest on a 5th-day cycle. So who starts Game 3? It becomes the real question. Game 3 is probably Jose Quintana, but I'd argue that there is a scenario where maybe they're facing a team with a whole bunch of righties, and they want to have a matchup with Chad Patrick, and they can piggyback each other, or they can have Aaron Ashby start the game against a bunch of lefties, Quintana follow, whatever the Brewers ultimately decide to do. They do have a little bit of depth for that third game. Where it becomes interesting is Game 1, 2, 3 of the NLCS, depending on how far the DS goes, if the Brewers are lucky enough to make it that far. Does Jacob Mizorowski come into the fold? How much longer can Robert Gasser go? Is somebody like Eric Fetty on the postseason roster? These are all questions the Brewers are faced with right now to decide in these final 7 days of the regular season, how are they going to fix it? How are they going to get from point A to point B? Their main question, number one, is Quintana going to be ready with his calf strain for Game 3 potentially at this point? But if he's not, it would probably be some combination of Chad Patrick and or Jacob Mizorowski in Game 3, and also this is opponent-dependent. So let's give you a quick little scoreboard watch here as we preview what to look out for in today's action. We'll actually start in the American League. Since the Brewers, it's simple. The magic number is 1. Brewers win, nothing else matters. If the Cubs lose, nothing else matters. The Brewers will be in. And once the Brewers, by the way, clinch the division, they will have a bye. It is guaranteed. The 1 seed is not yet locked up, but the good news is that they're 3 games up on Philly with the tiebreaker and only 7 games remaining. That being said, starting in the American League, things are getting tight in the Central. Detroit enters the day 1 game up on the Cleveland Guardians, who have won 10 games in a row, as they are trying to avoid getting swept by the Atlanta Braves. Detroit has lost 5 in a row. Cleveland has won 10 in a row. At one point earlier this year, it was double digits. It was double digits in September for the Cleveland Guardians. And now all of a sudden, they have a legitimate chance to not only make the playoffs just as a wild card team, but they have a chance to actually make it in as the division winner. And here's the kicker. They have one more head-to-head series coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in Cleveland with the tiebreaker on the line. If the Guardians win just 1 game, they take the tiebreaker on Detroit. They are 6-4 so far on the season against the Tigers. When they woke up on Sunday, September 7th, just 2 weeks ago, they were 10 games back, and now they're 1 game back. It is ridiculous what they have been able to do. And it's significant because second place in the Central in the American League does not guarantee you a postseason spot. As things stand right now, Detroit's got 85 wins. The last spot in the wild card race has 84 wins, which is currently Cleveland or Houston. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper into the weeds here, who has the tiebreaker between Houston and Detroit if we have a rematch of the 2024 wild card matchup? That tiebreaker goes to the Tigers. So in the event that Detroit is the last team in, Seattle wins the West, and Detroit and Houston are tied for that last spot. Houston is out, and Detroit is in. The American League is wacky, so keep an eye on Braves and Tigers, also on Guardians and Twins in Cleveland. Wow, wow, wow. So much to get excited about there. We'll also, of course, be keeping an eye on the Cubs. They start at 12:40, so Josh and Lane will be giving you plenty of updates throughout the game today on that. Jamison Tyone against Andrew Abbott. The Reds are trying to sneak their way in thanks to the Mets continuing to falter. That would be a 4-game series sweep if the Reds are able to finish this off against the Chicago Cubs, as the Reds begin today a game back of the New York Mets for the last wild card spot. We have more Brewers warm-up coming up after the news and a break. We send it back to our breaking news center. Here's Nazir Spencer.
Thanks, Dom. A zoo is mourning the death of a beloved elephant. The Milwaukee County Zoo announced that Ruth, the African savanna elephant, died Saturday morning after she failed to get up on her own. Staff believe the best course of action was to humanely euthanize her. Ruth was one of 3 elephants at the Milwaukee County Zoo. She first arrived at the zoo back in 2006 to join Brittany, who had been there since 2001. Zoo experts say elephants usually have a lifespan of 39 years in the wild, and Ruth, the elephant, died at the age of 43. Crews have completed demolition of the long vacant former Northridge Mall on Milwaukee's northwest side. The city's Department of City Development says the last steel beam was cut and final structures pulled down Wednesday night. The Milwaukee Business Journal reports the property could be marketed to developers as early as 2026. City leaders say the 58-acre site, now renamed Granville Station, could hold housing, corporate space, or community gathering areas. Providing funding to help fight veteran homelessness in Wisconsin. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs announced Friday they would be investing $9.3 million to Wisconsin organizations that help veterans who are without a home or are on the brink of becoming homeless. The grants will help struggling veterans have access to housing, health care, financial planning services, child care, legal protection, and transportation. The grants are among a total of $818 million in funding the VA is awarding nationwide. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver. Traffic on I-41 US 45 South, about a half a mile beyond ramp from Appleton Avenue. There is a crash on the right shoulder. It is backing up I-41 South just a bit. But once you get past that crash, it is free speeds after that. But just be mindful on I-41 US 45. About a half a mile beyond a ramp from Appleton Avenue, there is a crash. Otherwise, no major issues and no major delays in full freeway speeds across the rest of the system. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, partly cloudy and humid with a chance of showers and storms with a high of 77. Tonight, a slight chance of showers with a low of 62. Monday, partly cloudy with a chance of showers and a high of 78. Tuesday, partly cloudy with a continued chance of scattered showers and storms with a high of 77. And Wednesday, partly cloudy with a slight chance of a shower with a high of 72. Thursday, partly cloudy with a high of 70. Right now in Madison, it's 72. In Green Bay, 73. In Waukesha, 73. And in Milwaukee, 73 degrees. I'm Nazir Spencer, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 12:32.
They saved over $50,000 after we sold their home at only 1.9%. You don't have to pay 6% to market and sell your home. Hundreds of Century 21 Benefit Realty clients will attest. You can get it all for only 1.9%. The more value your home has, the more important it is to find the best real estate commission and the marketing ability to get top dollar. And with Century 21 behind us, that's what we have. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. Half a century of marketing expertise joined with over 20 years of local market knowledge. Not to mention the savings you'll see after you get our best commission right up front, which, by the way, is only 1.9% on the listing side of your home. Join that together and you can be sure that you've chosen the right real estate experts who have the experience to market your home effectively and give you a commission that'll end up paying for things like new furniture. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Bank 5-9 has a mission to make lives better. They make it a priority to give back to their customers, communities, and their employees. In fact, Bank 5-9 was just honored again by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel as a top workplace. That makes 16 years in a row. Want to learn more about working with the great people at Bank 5-9? Visit bank59.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scafidi and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handled all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
Now, more of Brewers warm-up on WTMJ.
One more from the Lou. It's been fun to be down here in person, hopefully covering a big celebration here at the ballpark. The Brewers and the Cardinals wrapping things up. We will be live regardless if they clinch today or not, reacting to all of it here on WTMJ, and hopefully we'll have some access as well to the guys downstairs, living it up, having a great time at the ballpark, if today is the day that they clinch. Brewers and Cardinals. With that said, let's get to the starting lineups and give you an update on William Contreras. We already mentioned Robert Gasser starting for the Brewers. Haven't mentioned that Matthew Liberatore, another lefty, is starting on the other side for St. Louis. Here are the lineups. Jackson Chourio will lead things off. He is the right fielder today, giving Sal Frelick a day off. Isaac Collins will hit second and play left field, followed by Andrew Vaughn over at first base. He's batting third. Rhys Hoskins will be the designated hitter today, getting the start. So a full day off for William and for Yelly. Batting fifth is Caleb Durbin. He is at third. Andrew Monasterio, after the brilliant play yesterday, he'll get the start at second. A day off for Bryce. Batting seventh, Danny Jansen. He is behind the plate. Blake Perkins will be the center fielder, hitting eighth. And finally, Joey Ortiz will round out the order as the shortstop for the Crew. Now, they did not make a roster move from a position player standpoint with William Contreras exiting yesterday's game after getting a catcher's interference call against his wrist on a check swing by Ivan Herrera. We caught up with William earlier today. He was short, sweet, to the point about how his wrist is feeling and why he ultimately came out of the game.
Of course, yeah, I feel like sore. Yeah, but I want to like win the game. I want to like make what I do every day outside, and I want to stay in the game, but they don't want me to stay in the game.
I mean, he wants to play. He wants to play. He was saying all that tongue-in-cheek, like, hey, don't understand. And he was joking, okay? Let's be very clear on that. But the other thing I followed up with him, too, just like, you lead every year in innings caught, like him and JT Realmuto, Cal Raleigh's up there now as well. Like, why? I mean, that's the simple question. Why do you do this every single day?
Because I love this game. Right, yeah, so. Because I want to be in the lineup every day. I want to do my job every day. I want to win the game every day. I want to play hard, no matter what.
You realize that's rare for a catcher? Like,
yeah. So it's my life. I don't have to do nothing in the day off.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to play ball. And I think that's a rare trait that you can find in a player these days. Brewers will have Contreras on the bench. Now, it's significant because, you know, in the event Danny Jansen gets hit with a catcher's interference and William has to go out there with a sore wrist, who knows what could happen in that. But I saw the wrist. He's got some K-tape on it. We'll see what happens for him moving forward. On the other side, quickly for the Cardinals with the lefty on the mound for the Brewers, it'll be Thomas the Jay-Z leading things off as the shortstop. Ivan Herrera still hitting second, DHing. 3 spot is Alec Burleson. He's over at first base. Lars Nootbaar will be the cleanup hitter. He is playing left field. Jordan Walker is in right, batting 5th, followed by Nolan Gorman over at third base in the 6th spot. Jose Fermin is the second baseman today. He'll hit 7th. No Donovan in the order. Jimmy Crooks will catch and hit 8th. And Victor Scott, the second, will play center field for St. Louis. He is batting 9th. So, Brewers and Cardinals getting ready to finish up this regular season series season here at Busch Stadium. It's the final home game of a disappointing year for the St. Louis Cardinals. And it's also the final home game for President of Baseball Operations John Mozeliak, as he is retiring at the end of the season. Chaim Bloom will take the transition of power and be the POBO, the President of Baseball Operations, next season for the St. Louis Cardinals. You may remember Chaim with the Rays and with the Red Sox, and, well, some of that Red Sox young core was drafted under Chaim Bloom. So we'll see what they get to do in the future, but that is going to be in the rearview mirror of the Brewers. The magic number, 1. All it takes is a win. No other scenarios, don't need anything to monitor, but I'll also go ahead and point this out. There's a rain delay in Cincinnati. They are delayed according to the ticker feed. So maybe just get the win done, and you got nothing to worry about. Brewers and Cardinals. Robert Gasser back in the big leagues for the first time in over a year against Matthew Liberatore to finish up this regular season. Our producer has been Isaac Marquardt. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Keep on swinging.
I'm Ted.
Ted owns and operates a business.
That's right.
But Ted needs help. His industry is getting disrupted, and he